What do you think is the most commonly created redstone contraption? Well, if I had to guess, I'd say piston doors. Piston doors come in all sorts of dimensions, complexities, and even opening animations. Yet, no matter the size, there's always one feature that I like to add to my piston doors: the lock. Hello, I'm Benjamin, and welcome to System Spotlight, where I'll show and explain a redstone system and then go over an example of how we can apply it in a usable contraption. First off, here's my own favorite version of the piston door. 2 blocks wide, giving it the double door feel, and 3 blocks high so we can jump while we move through it. It uses pressure plates so we can simply walk into it, and we can flick this lever to lock it behind us. So to explain how we get this to work, here's a side-by-side of the normal door system and the locking mechanism system. On the normal system, we jump around on the pressure plates and the piston retracts. Nothing super fancy. But when we jump around on these pressure plates, nothing happens. We keep trying and do a little dance, but the piston refuses to budge. We flick this lever a few times for good measure, and still nothing happens. But if we stand on this pressure plate while the lever is flicked, the piston finally decides to retract until we either get off the pressure plate or until we flick the lever, once again locking the contraption. So why this works, as some of you may have figured out, is the following. Immediately after both triggers are 2 redstone torches. The signals from these torches are then linked together in this loop of redstone dust. Then we have a block with a redstone torch on the side. As long as active redstone is interacting with this block, the torch will remain powered down. And since the previously mentioned redstone loop is what's run over that block, the third torch will continue to remain inactive even if we flick the lever or if we push this button. But as soon as we decide to activate both at once, there's nothing left sending signal into the third torch. This allows it to finally activate, and to trigger the piston for as long as both of our triggers are triggered. So how do we set this up for our door? Well, for our 2x3 door, we only need these resources. It's super simple, so let's jump right in. When building this, make sure that you have the space to dig down 4 blocks from ground level, plus something solid underneath. Then, place your 6 sticky pistons in a typical double door fashion, 3 stacked on top of each other, facing an identical column of pistons with 4 blocks of space in between the two. In the middle of that space, place the 6 blocks you'll be using for the door itself. I like to use stripped spruce wood or note blocks. Next, we place the triggers. This will mean our 4 pressure plates, 2 on each side of the door. Then we take out the blocks between the wood and the pistons and begin making room for the actual redstone. Dig down 3 blocks under the top layer, clearing out a 5x8 space under the door, like so. This won't only be enough space for the redstone itself, but should also give us enough space to move around while we're building this little device. Directly under one of your triggers, place 2 blocks and remove the top one, giving yourself 1 block of space between the stone and the surface layer. Then you can build yourself a little horseshoe, using 4 additional blocks. And once that's done, you can plop some dust down onto it, linking our 4 pressure plates together into one system. Now in the crock of this horseshoe, we can place this redstone torch, and then run a line of redstone underneath it. That line will now be deactivated once any of the pressure plates are triggered. Now for the outputs. Replace this dirt with whatever solid block you're using, and then place a redstone torch on top of it. Then place another block on the torch, and top that off with some redstone dust. This should extend all 3 pistons on this side. Then we just have to repeat this over here. Block, torch, block, dust, door. Now we just have to link it all up. Go back underground and dig out these blocks underneath where you put the torch. Place a block here with another torch, which will deactivate the pistons. Then we dig out a space for the trail of redstone, place that dust, and link it all up with the active line. The pistons will now be extended once again. And once again, repeat this step on the other side, linking the last 3 pistons into the triggers. At this point, we should have a fairly basic door setup. We can walk on through it, and the pistons retract every time. So now, it's time to install the lock. First, build up some kind of arch or door frame. I'll be using polished deep slate. You will not want to be placing the lock lever right up against the arch, however, or you'll have a harder time figuring out how to link your redstone into the system. I'd recommend placing it on the corner of the arch. That way it isn't super far away, but it also isn't so close that we can't fit in the redstone. From there, we just have to connect the lever into the active line of redstone. I do this here with redstone below the lever that then activates a torch to power the redstone below. But really, all that matters is that the lever is connected to the dust. With the lever linked up, we can test the door, finding that it still works flawlessly. But once we flick the lever, we find that the doors will refuse to open, no matter how often we yell the Elvish word for friend.
What's the Elvish word for friend?
But at any rate, there you have it. This system essentially gives us the ability to turn off any contraption's ability to function. That can mean a lock on a door, or it could mean a disarm switch on our traps to make them safe until the time is right. Do with that what you will. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.